Did you know for Who Framed Roger Rabbit, as of 2024, this movie is the first and only time cartoon characters from Disney and Warner Brothers have appeared together on screen? 2. Bob Hoskins said that, for 2 weeks after seeing the movie, his young son wouldn't talk to him. When finally asked why, his son said he couldn't believe his father would work with cartoon characters such as Bugs Bunny and not let him meet them. 3. Since the movie was being made by Disney's Touchstone Pictures, Warner Brothers would only allow use of their biggest cartoon stars, Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck, if they got as much screen time as Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck. For that reason, they were always in pairs, such as the piano battle between Daffy and Donald and the parachute scene with Bugs and Mickey. This was continued with Porky Pig and Tinker Bell at the movie's ending. 4. Bob Hoskins claimed that Jessica Rabbit was not yet sketched by the animators when filming wrapped, and he had no idea what the character would look like. Robert Zemeckis told Hoskins to imagine his ideal fantasy. Hoskins claimed that his mental image was less risque than what Jessica looked like in the completed film. Did you know for Young Frankenstein, when Mel Brooks was preparing for this film, he discovered that Ken Strickfaden, who'd made the elaborate electrical machinery for the lab sequences in Frankenstein and its sequels, was still alive and living in the Los Angeles area. Brooks visited Strickfaden and found that he had stored all the equipment in his garage. Brooks made a deal to rent the equipment and gave Strickfaden the screen credit he didn't receive for the original films. 2. Gene Hackman ad-libbed the blind man's parting line, "I was gonna make espresso." The scene immediately fades to black because the crew erupted into fits of laughter. Hackman was unable to repeat the line without laughing with the rest of the crew, so the first take was used. Hackman was uncredited when the movie was originally released in theaters. 3. In 1974, Aerosmith took a break from a long night of recording to see this film. Steven Tyler wrote the band's hit, "Walk This Way," the morning after seeing the movie, inspired by Marty Feldman's first scene, the Walk This Way scene. 4. Gene Wilder has stated that this is his favorite of all the films he's made. Did you know for 8 Mile, the rap battle scenes took days to film, and the 300 extras were starting to get bored? Director Curtis Hanson started an improv freestyle rap battle among them, and the 3 best rappers would be filmed going head-to-head with Eminem. Each of the 134 volunteers got 15 seconds in front of the judiciary panel. Ultimately, the jury chose 4 rappers, who got a one-shot, one-take-only scene with Eminem, who wanted to mime his responses to save his voice for the scripted scenes. Eminem couldn't resist the challenge by staying silent, especially with the crowd taunting him, and took on his opponents. 2. The sheet of paper that Jimmy writes on the bus is the real sheet that Eminem wrote "Lose Yourself" on. The sheet of paper sold for $10,000 on an eBay auction. 3. Eminem was unable to accept his Academy Award in person. He felt so sure another nominee would win that he did not bother to attend the ceremony. Instead, he was sleeping while his daughter watched cartoons the night he won. 4. Eminem improvised his lyrics and changed the lyrics in the battle rap scenes. This threw off the other rappers. Did you know for You've Got Mail, the scene where Joe accidentally closes the door of Kathleen's shop on the balloons was unscripted? Tom Hanks actually did that and ad-libbed the line, "Good thing it wasn't the fish." Nora Ephron thought it was so funny that she kept it in. 2. All of Joe and Kathleen's emails were put on the movie's official website, which Warner Brothers kept active until 10 May 2018. 3. The casting of Dave Chappelle as Kevin, Tom Hanks's friend and confidant, came about because 4 years previously, Chappelle was offered the role of Bubba in Forrest Gump, Hanks's big blockbuster, which became a worldwide phenomenon. Chappelle turned down the role of Bubba because he felt Forrest Gump would flop at the box office. However, when it became a huge success worldwide and dominated the 1994 Oscars, Chappelle said he deeply regretted turning down the role of Bubba. Hanks, realizing this, promised to work with Chappelle on a future film as a result, and he suggested to director Nora Ephron he play the role of Kevin. Ephron agreed, and Chappelle eagerly accepted the offer to work with Hanks. 4. Meg Ryan got her very first computer during the filming. Did you know for American Hustle, the fight scene that takes place in the bedroom between Christian Bale and Jennifer Lawrence is completely improvised? A version of it had been written in the script, but they were struggling to connect with it, so David O. Russell ultimately decided to allow them to say what they wanted. 2. A lot of controversy was created over this film when Jennifer Lawrence was paid significantly less than her male co-stars, and Lawrence said in an interview, I let myself down for not fighting hard enough for equal pay. But it has also been pointed out that she worked less than half the amount of days as the higher-paid male actors. So if their salaries were divided by the amount of days worked, she made over $20,000 more a day than they did. 3. According to Louis C.K., the ice fishing story his character tells throughout the film was improvised on the set. An ending to the story was invented, but cut from the final film. C.K. disclosed on The Tonight Show with Jay Leno that the ending to the story is that his character's brother defecated on the ice. 4. It was Amy Adams's idea for Jennifer Lawrence to kiss her in the bathroom. Did you know for Cape Fear, the thick accent Robert De Niro used to play Max Cady reportedly gave Martin Scorsese the creeps? As a joke, De Niro would call Scorsese's house, leaving voicemails as Cady. This accent came from an earlier role where he played a Southerner. To prepare for the role, De Niro took excerpts of the script and a tape recorder into southern towns, and would ask locals to read the lines into the tape. 2. Originally, in the scene where Cady puts handcuffs on Laurie, she was supposed to start freaking out. Ileana Douglas was the one who came up with the idea of having her character laughing and trying to play along instead. 3. Robert De Niro paid a dentist $5,000 to make his teeth look suitably bad for the role of Max Cady. After filming, he paid $20,000 to have them fixed. 4. Steven Spielberg was originally set to direct. He later recommended Martin Scorsese for the job and personally called Scorsese, letting him know that this was a commercial film that had potential to be a hit, which would exercise more power for Scorsese to make his films. 5. The scene in the high school auditorium was shot in one take with 2 cameras. Did you know for 127 hours, Aaron Ralston filmed a daily video diary while he was stuck in the canyon? Parts of the video diary were shown on a televised special about his entrapment. However, most of the footage has only been shown to close friends and family and is kept in a bank vault for safety. Before shooting began, both James Franco and director Danny Boyle were allowed to view the footage in order to accurately portray the events in the movie. 2. The camcorder used by James Franco in the film was the actual one Aaron Ralston used when he was trapped in Blue John Canyon. 3. For the moment when Aaron falls down the canyon and gets his arm stuck under the rock, Danny Boyle filmed James Franco for 20 minutes straight going through all kinds of emotions. He then cut the material the way it ended up in the movie. 4. Although not mentioned in the film, it took 13 men, a winch, and a hydraulic jack to lift the boulder high enough to retrieve Aaron's arm from the canyon. 5. It took roughly 1 hour for Aaron to cut through his own arm. Aaron Ralston went back to the scene of the accident in 2014 to scatter the ashes of his amputated arm over the boulder that had trapped him. Did you know for Captain America, Civil War, T'Challa had a much smaller role in the earlier drafts and did not even appear in costume, as the writers intended to put more focus on Spider-Man and save Black Panther's origin for his own movie. However, when it looked like Marvel would not be getting permission to use Spider-Man, Black Panther's role was beefed up significantly. By the time they did get to use Spider-Man, T'Challa had already become so integral to the plot that they decided to leave his role as it was, and give Spider-Man a smaller part. 2. The day before filming a fight scene with Robert Downey Jr., Sebastian Stan sent him a video of himself doing intense bicep curls in front of the decapitated head of an Iron Man suit. He attached the message, "Looking forward to our scene tomorrow, Robert." 3. Tom Holland commented on how intimidated he was when he came to screen test for Spider-Man, saying that Robert Downey Jr. took him aside and said, "Listen, I remember my screen test for Iron Man. I remember how terrified I was. Just think of it as an audition. It's nothing too scary. If you get it wrong, we'll just start again. No pressure."